Welcome to Bookscape Epic Reads, where we dive deep into the world of popular books, exploring timeless classics and modern bestsellers alike. Join us for in-depth reviews, insightful discussions, reflections. Let roll. Some stories don't begin with heroes or endings. They begin with a light, a green one across the water, shimmering just beyond reach. In the age of jazz and champagne, of roaring cars and broken promises, there lived a man who believed in the impossible. Jay Gatsby. Not just a name, but a myth made of dreams, built from hope and doomed by time. Behind his lavish parties and golden mansion lay something far more fragile, a heart tethered to yesterday and a soul chasing the illusion of love. This is not merely a tale of romance. It is a requiem for the American dream, a mirror held to a world too dazzled by its own reflection. This is the Great Gatsby. In the golden haze of the 1920s, where jazz echoed through marble halls, flapper dresses swayed beneath chandeliers, and champagne flowed like water, F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby emerges not only as a quintessential American novel, but also as a haunting portrait of a dream deteriorating beneath the weight of illusion and indulgence. The narrative is far more than a love story set amid luxury. It is a scathing critique of an era that mistook glamour for meaning, and it challenges readers to question the moral fabric of a society obsessed with status, wealth, and reinvention. The story is filtered through the perceptive eyes of Nick Carraway, a Yale graduate from the Midwest who, after serving in World War I, moves to West Egg, Long Island. He comes in search of prosperity and experience, hoping to learn the bond business in booming New York. Nick's own moral compass is firm yet flexible, and this allows him to move through the spheres of East Coast opulence while retaining a measure of introspective detachment. He rents a modest bungalow overshadowed by the vast, opulent mansion next door, a structure shrouded in mystery and owned by the enigmatic Jay Gatsby, whose name is whispered like legend across Manhattan. Gatsby is a figure of both myth and melancholy. Though he throws nightly parties that swell with music, laughter, and glittering guests from every corner of society, few truly know the man behind the mask. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Born James Gatz, the son of impoverished farmers in North Dakota, Gatsby refuses to accept the limitations of his origins. With an unyielding dream, he meticulously builds a new identity, accumulating a fortune through ambiguous means, all for the sole purpose of rekindling a past romance with Daisy Buchanan. She, to Gatsby, embodies perfection, the golden girl who once loved him before he left to fight in the war. Her voice is described as full of money, a sound that resonates with Gatsby's dreams of status and belonging. Daisy, now married to Tom Buchanan, lives in East Egg, a region symbolizing old money and inherited privilege. Tom, brash and arrogant, represents the established elite, clinging to entitlement and outdated ideals of dominance. He is dismissive, even cruel, and maintains an affair with Myrtle Wilson, a woman from the working class who longs to escape her bleak existence. Tom's duplicity and Daisy's emotional fragility form the backdrop against which Gatsby's idealism is doomed to unravel. Fitzgerald uses these relationships to dissect the moral decay hiding behind polished appearances. Their world is one where loyalty is fleeting and desire often outpaces principle. Nick finds himself drawn into Gatsby's world. Through moonlit conversations and gradual disclosures, Gatsby reveals his longing for Daisy and the life they could have had. He believes utterly in the idea that the past can be resurrected. For Gatsby, time is not linear. It is a loop that can be bent by willpower and desire. The green light at the end of Daisy's dock becomes a haunting symbol of this belief, a beacon of hope, love, and the unreachable. Yet this dream is built on illusion, And as Nick watches Gatsby's hopes rise and fall, he begins to understand the tragic futility of chasing a moment that can never be recaptured. The narrative builds toward a climactic confrontation. On a blistering summer day, the main characters converge at the Plaza Hotel in New York. There, Gatsby demands that Daisy confess she never loved Tom, believing that the truth will restore what was lost. But reality doesn't conform to Gatsby's dream. Daisy, under pressure, falters. She cannot deny that she loved Tom, even if only briefly. Gatsby's vision collapses. The romantic ideal he nurtured so carefully turns to dust, and Nick watches. The myth of Gatsby begins to fracture before his eyes. As the characters return to Long Island, tragedy strikes. Myrtle Wilson, distraught after an altercation with her husband George, runs into the road and is struck by Gatsby's car, driven by Daisy. Tom manipulates George into believing Gatsby was responsible. Consumed by grief and rage, George finds Gatsby floating in his pool and shoots him before taking his own life. Gatsby dies, believing in the possibility of a phone call from Daisy, a final gesture of love that never comes. His death is quiet, unnoticed by the very society that once drank his champagne and danced on his lawns. Nick, disillusioned by the moral emptiness and hypocrisy of the East Coast elite, arranges Gatsby's funeral, only to find that few come. Those who once basked in Gatsby's glow abandon him in death. Even Daisy and Tom vanish, retreating into the safety of their money and privilege. Nick returns to the Midwest, his faith in the American dream deeply shaken. He comes to see Gatsby, not as a fool, but as a tragic idealist, a man who believed in the power of dreams even when they were based on illusions. Fitzgerald's prose is luminous, rich in metaphor and haunting in tone. The novel captures the tension between material success and spiritual emptiness. Through Gatsby, Fitzgerald paints the American dream not as a hopeful pursuit of self-betterment, but as a seductive lie that promises transcendence and delivers disillusionment. Gatsby's fall is not just personal, it is emblematic of a society that has lost its way, that values appearance over authenticity and pleasure over principle. The Great Gatsby endures because it speaks to every era gripped by rapid change and moral uncertainty. In a world obsessed with wealth, visibility, and reinvention, Gatsby remains a relevant figure, a reminder of the perils of dreaming too beautifully in a world too indifferent to care. The green light still glows across the water just out of reach, beckoning each generation toward a future that remains as elusive as ever. Gatsby believed in the dream, and in the end, perhaps that belief, despite its flaws, is what makes him unforgettable. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.